everybody, it's Brian at MA-Motorsports, and we are going to be working on Mr. Brian Hopp's brown S13 Coupe. This is his demo slash practice car. And we've done a bunch of work to it in the past, and it is here for another round. So while this thing is bumperless at the moment, it normally is a pretty good looking car. It's been put to good use though, and has some battle scars. But originally this thing had an SR20 in it, and he had some troubles with it then, and he wanted to have a car a little more comparable to his competition car, so we did an engine swap for him. And this thing isn't that crazy. It's got some headers on it, sweet titanium intake we made for it, and it's got a cam from MA-Motorsports, and then a custom cooling system we made for it. Otherwise, we did a somewhat standard swap. It uses a link harness and a link ECU, of course, with some radium bits here, fuel regulator. It is a pretty basic car, and he just beats the crap out of it. This is the one that you'll see at Drift Appalachia and some of those other events where he's having a good time throwing it at guardrails and stuff. At some point along the way, we also put a roll cage in it. This is cage kits we TIG welded in for him some time ago. And got your link dash here, ASD handbrake with one of our old handbrake brackets that we still have some inventory of if anybody needs one. So what is the car here for now if it's been so reliable? So while the engine has been really reliable, and in general this car gets the crap beaten out of it with little issue, this whole setup right here, this diff axle scenario, has been an issue. And instead of doing a 350Z diff or something, we are going to go straight to a quick change, which is just a super useful tool to have in a car anyway. So in order to do that, we got to get rid of this big thing, the stock gas tank, and also cut the trunk floor out. So that is where we're going to start. We're going to remove this gas tank and mount a fuel cell up in there, and then we're going to put a big old Winters 10-inch quick change up in there with one of our subframes. So we got the car in here on the lift, and we need to get rid of all this stuff. We're probably gonna have to relocate his battery, maybe. Factory fuel tank and sending unit is gonna go. I might cut that bar out. And that's basically where we are. We're gonna start taking things apart so we can start putting them back together the way we want. Making a little progress, a couple things removed. Making way. Gas tank's out. We're gonna have to cut this spare tire well out too. So I'm just gonna put a flat panel on the top. The next thing I'm gonna do is drop this whole subframe here. All right, while I'm under here taking stuff apart, I thought I'd admire this really sweet titanium exhaust we made for this car a while ago. But I gotta remove it. But don't worry, it'll go back on and hopefully clear the quick change. I'm thinking it'll clear. We're gonna find out. Meanwhile, I gotta pop this drive shaft out, drop the exhaust, and then I'm gonna basically drop this whole factory cradle, because we're also putting Wisefab suspension on it. So we're basically not gonna use any of this stuff except for the brakes. We're even getting new hubs for them. So Brooks and I are working on the back of Hop's car here, getting the subframe in. And the subframe itself clears the chassis here, as you can see. But the differential is going to occupy this space here. So we put the subframe in, and then we're going to put the diff in from the bottom and just kind of get an idea how much of this we have to cut. So I'd rather cut as little as possible. So that's the next step. As you can see, Brooks went ahead and cut a big old hole in the back here. You have to get rid of the spare tire well to clear the diff and the subframe. And we're also going to sit a fuel cell up on top of it here. We got the diff sitting up in here, and we do need to cut a little bit in order to get the diff bolted in the subframe. All right, we got a nice little notch going up there for the diff. Quick and easy, and now we're getting the whole assembly in for good with the diff and the subframe. All right, while we are waiting on some parts to finish up the back of the car, the rear suspension, So we got the subframe and the diff in there, but we're waiting on some hubs to come because we're switching to the larger spline on the axle. So R32 GTR or Z32 twin turbo uses a much bigger spline, and that's what we like to use if possible. I'm now working on the rear firewall. So we've gone through a couple iterations of a Alaria brand rear firewall panel kit for the S13 Coupe, and this is one of the prototypes, and so I'm using that in Hop's car because it's a really good head start, and we don't have the production parts ready yet. So I've started to fit the two pieces, had to cut them for the cage there, you can see, and once I get those to fit a little better, I'm also going to fit this one. Sadly, I'm gonna have to trim this right down the center to fit it in the car because it already has a cage in it, which is another reason that we are kind of making some changes to the Alaria final product, because I don't want everybody to have to do that, assuming most people installing this are gonna have a cage in their car. I want it to be pretty streamlined install for them. So again, this is a great head start for me because I already have a lot of this stuff made, right, and it fits well enough. So I'm going to cut this down the center, and then we'll just kind of put a filler panel underneath with like 2 rows of rivets. Putting a coat of Steel It on all these bulkhead panels now that we got them fit. Let them dry out here in the sun. Chris got the fuel cell frame welded in. Looking real good. That panel that Brooks made is all sanded. Everything's ready. We got the battery box stuff mounted back in here. Well's over there. We're moving it over here just to balance the weight out a little bit. And now it's time for a little seam sealer and some paint. Put the cell in, and we are now plumbing some fuel lines. I got the feed and return here, and we modified this filler neck. Used to just be like a short straight up one, and we modified it so that it's just easier to get fuel in from the back of the car. One more hose to make here for the fuel cell vent. I'm going to run up and over to a filter, and you can see here these are the lines that originally went to the factory fuel sending unit. I just used the same lines and just put some bulkheads here. Fuel lines are complete now, just a feed and a return, and a simple little vent here for a filter. And then this rear bulkhead is installed. Little firewall just to keep the flames from getting hot. So we're out here at the Legends of Drift event. Brian Hop's car has been working super well. We installed the Wise Fab, the Quick Change Differential, and one of the MA-Motorsports subframes, and all those parts have been working flawlessly together. Hop said the car is driving really well. So even though this car doesn't make a lot of horsepower, we're super glad to have all the beefy pro car style parts under it. It just makes it that much more reliable. We don't have to worry about driving all the way to an event and having something break, and then it kind of throws away your weekend. So while it is an upfront cost, it will save you money in the long run if you're breaking parts all the time otherwise. So between the Wise Fab, the Quick Change Diff, the subframe, and the sheet metal work that we fabricated for it, all this stuff kind of works together, and it probably is like the easiest way you probably could have gotten this kind of work done. So with that said, that's a wrap for this video. If you guys have any questions about putting a quick change in your car, just get in touch. You can find us via email, leave a comment, Happy to answer any questions you have. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.